men's soccer head coach Mauricio Ruiz. A little different setup today, having to pivot to Zoom, but so are the times, right, Coach? Welcome and thanks for hanging out with us.
Appreciate it, Matt. Yeah, great to be here. Great to be able to talk soccer one more week and a couple of days, you would say, and so excited to talk to the group again.
Yeah, man. Coming off a big win, we talked about how significant it is to get conference play started and the new season mentality and a little extra juice for you going against your alma mater. You go down there, you get a W, 2-0 win. Reed Davis scores a couple of goals. Jose Manzo assists on both. Just speak about the effort overall.
Yeah, I think that was probably the closest performance from an attitude and effort standpoint that we've been talking about and preaching, this semester. I think, we've talked previously that our performances have been good. We've looked the part from a technical and a tactical standpoint, but we've been missing a bit of that grit, missing a little bit of that fight. And I would say that this game was a bit of a reverse of that. We were clearly the more aggressive team. We were a team that imposed their physicality and enthusiasm and energy into the game. We weren't as good on the ball as we have been in previous games, and that's something that we need to be able to pull. The day that we can put a 90-minute piece together of the attitude plus the quality, then that's really the performance that we're looking for, right? But that's the top of the mountain. That's the summit that every team is looking for. How can you be the most resilient, grittiest, defensive sound, attacking, bravery, in one 90-minute period? And that's what we're all training for every day. That's what we're looking for. But one thing that has to be consistent going forward is that the fight has to come before the performance. You can't do that without, it doesn't work the other way around. And I think we're evident, we're seeing evidence of that. And as long as our guys are willing to compete for one another, fighting for one another, the performances will build on as confidence builds. The confidence that play again, going down to Stetson and starting conference play on the road on the back of a couple bad, losses, says a lot about the character of this group and what we've talked about all the time, that there's a lot of character here. But, a couple losses reveal opportunities, and sometimes wins hides problems too. So we're very much still in that frame of mind, and but glad to see some individual performances from guys. Davis he's been consistent performer this last, at the beginning of the season. He's overcome a lot of adversity with injuries in the previous year, had the red shirt, then 2020 being shut down. So it's been a long time coming for him. And just, man, I can't say enough about the young man as a competitor, as a person, and just the way he goes about, his business, looking after his body. So to get an individual personal goal of actually scoring, in a bit of his own merit, and then getting a second easy goal, like a tap-in goal. We talk to our forwards all the time. Get tap-in goals, get easy goals, put yourselves in front and around the goal. So then you can supplement your nice goals. So he had a bit of both in that game.
Yeah, the ASUN Player of the Week, Reed Davis. A nice bounce back for him. Glad to see him back and healthy and performing well. It's an exciting time for him and someone we've all been really excited to see again. So that's awesome for him. Looking ahead now, conference play doesn't stop. Another road trip heading down Fort Myers to match up with FGCU, a program that's had good deal of success here in the recent past in the league and nationally. Just speak to that matchup a little bit.
Yeah, obviously a team with a lot of firepower going forward. It's probably one of the more dangerous teams in the country when you look at what they have in their attacking side. But a team that I think you can get after. A team that is, athletic, technical, definitely looked the part. But a team that if we are, once again, if we can put together our pieces and what we've shown so far, I think it's a team that matches up well with us. It's two really similar teams that want to play, teams that enjoy being on the ball. So the team that's better on the ball on the day will have a little more success, and the team that disrupts the other team being on the ball will have a lot more success on it as well. But back-to-back games on the road, one thing that we can take a lot of pride of, not just the goals that we had against Stetson, but the shutout. An inside joke with our team: shutouts on the road leads to ice creams. So we always do an ice cream after the match if we get shut out on the road, and the guys are excited about that. And we got our first shutout on the road against Stetson, and we get to go on the road again and trying to get more ice cream on the road. I think that's kind of the motto. But we have to be defensively sound, not just because we're playing a great team in Gulf Coast, but because we're on the road. And you go down on the road, that track becomes much more difficult. So I think we're working on making sure that we're defensive sound, learning how to play on the road, but also take chances when they present themselves going forward. And I think we've proven that we can do that leading up to this weekend. So I think it's a great game for us, and it's a game that positions that in a really good place in conference. Right now we're after one round, on top of the table, as you would call it. Gulf Coast and UNF in their first game they tied, so that means that we're ahead. And if we can get this win on the road, that puts us 5 points ahead. And as we come back home to have more of a home series, but puts us on the driver's seat to stay on top and claim a conference title. Now we're long ways away from that. That's not our immediate goal, but every opportunity allows us to get closer and closer to that goal.
Coach, what I think the people want to know is, what is the go-to ice cream flavor on the road after a shutout?
Well, I'm a big froyo guy.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but we kind of leave it. It depends on where we are. Leaving this past weekend, leaving Stetson, leaving the land at 10 o'clock at night, you're kind of limited to where you can go. So depending where we are, depending on the location, our assistant coach Enrique, that's probably one of the funnest but most least enjoyable things that he does after because he's already taking care of food and so many other things. Now he's got to figure out a place for ice cream at the end of the game. But that's a stress that we're happy to put on him, and we help him out with that. But some guys want your standard Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Some guys are happy with the froyo. So it depends where we are. It's at that point, it's really not even about what ice cream you're getting, just more an opportunity for us to celebrate.
You were talking about the standings in the league there for a second. How much of that do you encourage with the team? I know there are coaches who would rather you just not look and try to analyze too much, and there are some who embrace that. Where do you land on that scale?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely don't hide away from it because it's a thing that the players are looking at. They see it every day. That's important to them, especially in soccer, like how the EPL table and La Liga table, like it's a thing in soccer. Like you're looking at your standings, you're looking at the league play and how that goes. So, I mean, if the players are looking at it, and we certainly don't make it our everyday narrative. That's not something we talk about every single day. We talk about, like what everyone else talks about, training habits, making sure that we have to win training on Wednesday so that we can win the game on Saturday. So being the best version of yourself on the day is really our main focus. But certainly, I think it's important for us to highlight the opportunity. And there's and in this case, there's an unbelievable opportunity for us to maximize our effort down there in Fort Myers against FGCU, so then we can get on top of the table, because at the end of the day, that's what we're playing for. That's what matters. How we do that, it's our habits on a daily basis. But at the end of the day, being on top of the league and having control of your own destiny, man, what a great position for any team to be on. I think that's an ideal place, and we have that opportunity this weekend.
Yeah, and that's an exciting time. I mean, how much do you, it's crafty how you need to kind of message it, right? But how much do you emphasize these guys that, having this be the second of back-to-back road games, and then you have, if I'm checking my stats right, then you're back home. How do you stress the importance of this road game versus one where it's sort of at the beginning of a stretch of road games? Get through one more, then you're back at home and you can feel real good about yourselves.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you hit it on the head. It's how you message it, right? And I think you need to know where you have an understanding of the morale of the team and the energy of the team, and then make sure that you're messaging in the right way. And I think coming after a road win, Now we want to build on that, right? Like we want to see, kind of become the road warriors, guys that can go on the road anywhere, whether it's back to back or not, and be confident enough that we can go on the road and we can win. So messaging in a way that, we're not going down there, to get a tie or be hopeful for a win. Like, no, we want to go down there to win the game. And then, look forward and listen, we go down there and win, we get ourselves ahead of the league and we come home, right? And we can come home and to secure and to extend that even more. But messaging and not overdoing it either. It's important. We don't want to look too far ahead. We don't want to even look to the following weekend. We want to focus on Gulf Coast and then the steps that lead up to Gulf Coast. So, we talk about Gulf Coast a little bit, FGCU a little bit going into the weekend, but we're gonna, we have 3 days of training leading up to that. We're about being the best version of ourselves on every single day, putting on max effort every single day, making sure that you're giving and you're filling in as best as you can. So when you get to Saturday, you're autopilot because you've created good enough habits to perform on Saturday. And then having the collective of mind to be able to perform your task on that day, like be able to make sure things a little bit slower, a little bit more mindful. But man, once again, you can't hide from what the players already know, and you can massage that message as much as you can, but they know what's at stake. So don't run away from it. Just address it head on. Make sure that we're all on the same page. But then, as a coach, talk about the how we're gonna get that. That's the what, right? But we're gonna talk about the how. And how is our habits throughout the week, our focus throughout the week, dependability on each other. And right now, the identity that we're trying to build, that we want to be a hardworking team, that we want to be a team that is difficult to play against, not just enjoyable to watch, but difficult to play against. And that's what we were on this past Saturday or this past Friday against Stetson. We were a very difficult team to play against. We suffocated them in areas. We made the correct adjustments. The players were fantastic on the field doing that. And we want to do that again this weekend.
Yeah, Coach, I think that's a really good place to leave it here. The Dolphins, once we get through this weekend, won't leave the city of Jacksonville for the remainder of the regular season. 3 out of 4 at home, and that 4th game being at UNF. So, good stretch of opportunity here for your squad, and it's got to be an exciting feeling, an exciting time, just with the way this schedule is worked out. Anything you want to leave us with, Coach?
No. I just I want to appreciate and recognize all of our alum. We had a really good week of Dolphin Dash.
That's right. Yep.
It's our weekly year giving campaign. We do once a year. It's a competition amongst the teams at JU. Who can raise the most dollars, who can get the most donors, and it's always a fun competition. Our department does a great job of enticing that, encouraging. And our alumni and our players always do a great job of supporting our program. So within 5 days, we're able to raise $12,000. It's really the only time of year that we have an aggressive ask. Like many programs around the country, we're heavily supported by our alumni, and so we really do appreciate when they step up to the plate the way that they did. So we're appreciative of it. I know our players are appreciative of it, and allows us to do some really creative and nice things going forward too. So ultimately, to provide the best student-athlete experience for our, which is what we're trying to do on a daily basis, but we also appreciate our alumni support. So I just want to make sure that I recognize our alumni and thank them for all their support.
Well, awesome. Thanks a lot, Coach. Thanks for spending some time with us, and we will catch up with everyone next week on another episode of Kicking It with head coach Mauricio Ruiz here, presented by Baptist Health. Have a good one, Coach.